morning, good afternoon, everybody. We're back for another episode of Subplot. It's me, Mike, as always, and I'm joined with Aaron, not to completely rip off everything Sean says at the beginning of our normal episodes.
I mean, we gotta keep it consistent.
But
we can't just be going off the rails.
Yeah. I just never know what to say, and it just sounds so good, so why not?
That's right, Sean, if you're listening to that, we're just complimenting your openings.
Yep. Which he basically got from what we used to do back in the day. But
so he's technically ripping you off.
Yeah, so it's a rip-off of a rip-off.
You're ripping off your own original content.
Yeah.
I've done that before, it's okay.
Yeah. So, we're here to talk about
We're here to celebrate the end of an era.
Yeah.
The Showa era.
Yeah.
Which I'm excited about, because we're getting into my favorite era coming up.
I remember back before this was even a thing, you had gave me a stack of Godzilla films to watch. And one of the ones I remember you talking about a lot was Return of Godzilla.
Yes.
Which will be
the next one. That's going to be a triple parter too.
Okay.
Because we're going to have to watch The Return of Godzilla, and then we're going to have to watch Godzilla 1985 and Godzilla vs. Biollante. Okay. Even though Godzilla 1985 and Return of Godzilla are essentially the same movie, there are story liberties that have been taken in the American version, which I personally think make the movie better.
Okay.
Which is why I want you to watch both versions.
Yeah.
Because, in my opinion, one version is better than the other.
Okay. Well, that'll be interesting. And we're getting into we're now into the era where you'll have to bring the DVDs over, because
yes, because these are these ones aren't on HBO Max or anything. Which, funny enough,
are any of them on Amazon?
Starting this month in Japan on Netflix, on their Netflix, every Godzilla movie will be available on Japan's Netflix. I think it's starting this month. I need to
figure out how to do that VPN thing where I can...
Right? Because, I was thinking about it, and I was like, man, I said that to my mom, and she looked at me funny, and I'm like, I know I have all the DVDs, and but it'd just be nice to just sit down, click Netflix, and go, which one do I want to watch? And just
it's something
click.
About being readily available. Mm-hmm. They just put on HBO Max. This has nothing to do with Godzilla, but they just put on the Batman the Animated Series.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, I'm going to go through that now because it's just there and it's ready to, I don't have to switch DVDs. I own it all. I just don't feel like switching DVDs every time.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I have nothing else. So let's just jump into Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla.
1974.
Right.
Because as we're looking at the synopsis here, it has two other movies titled, similarly titled Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla or Godzilla against Mechagodzilla.
I mean, you could be kind of confused with Godzilla against Mechagodzilla.
Yeah.
But the other one has a 2 in it, so I mean...
Which, kudos to them for just going the route Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, because you're just kind of like... So
is that essentially number 4 then?
You're like, well, we can't call it Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla because we already have one of those.
Yeah. So this one, as I probably stated somewhere on the podcast before, I think, this one is the one I remember watching a ton as a kid. I don't know if it's like one of the ones that I owned. I don't remember owning any, but I've seen this one a ton of times. Like, the whole time watching it, I just had, nostalgia throwback for each and every scene, almost.
This is the movie that introduced Godzilla jazz. And it's probably one of the greatest things to ever grace my ears. I mean, honestly, when you think about it, the score for that movie, it's not Ifukube's score. It is Masaru Sato. That's the composer for this movie, and I have to say, I love it. Like, when I think about this movie, one of the first things that pops into my mind is the music.
Yeah.
Because I just love it. And it'll come back, too. It'll come back in the series, that music. Excuse me. And you'll laugh whenever it happens.
Yeah.
But, so let's start with the plot of this movie.
Possibly one of the better plots, I think. I might just be biased just because this is one of my fondest memories of Godzilla, but...
Yes, one of mine, too.
Yeah,
This is probably one of the most watched ones, like the most that I watched over and over and over as a kid. Mm-hmm. So a priestess of the Azumi tribe has these visions that a monster will destroy the city, but you're led to believe by her visions that it's Ghidorah.
Yeah.
Because you hear Ghidorah's...
They even show
them. Yeah, and they show, like, it's kind of like they filter the footage to make it, like, blood red, so you can barely tell, but, like...
And there's fire...
People like us with the keen eye, you're looking and you're like, it's Ghidorah. And you see the lightning, and you hear the sound, even.
Yeah.
And, but I guess they just were like, yeah, we're not taking pictures of another monster to, like, do this. So, she has these visions that another monster will come, and there's like this whole prophecy about these events that'll precurse what disaster will happen, and one of them is a black mountain rising above the cloud, or what is it? It's a cloud formation, but it looks like a black mountain.
Yeah, they call it a black mountain.
Yeah. So during, like, as our characters are moving through the movie, like, they're in a plane at one point, and the one girl, like, gasps at what she sees out the window, and the guy looks out the window and sees this big cloud formation that looks like a black mountain, and he's like, maybe it's not so crazy after all.
Yeah.
So, like, all these prophetic things are coming true while the story is progressing, and they have to, like, they eventually stumble upon the conspiracy that something is being built by these aliens who are a ripoff of... I shouldn't say ripoff. They're a cool species of alien. They're ape-like creatures that come from the third planet from the black hole.
Yeah.
And they take on humanoid form, but if they're injured or shot, that disguise kind of wears off, and they turn into these green apish creatures, which I've always wanted to go, like, trick-or-treat, like, to be at a Halloween party as one of them, because you could just wear human clothes, and just get, like, an ape mask and paint it green and put, like, spikes on it and have, like, a ray gun. I've always wanted to do that.
Or you get real crazy with it, and I think one of them, like, half of their face is ape.
Yeah, like, the prosthetic comes, like, down across his face and over his nose and his mouth. So, like, he has only, like, one side from the eye and the cheek are human, and the other is all ape. Which is really cool. Yeah. I like that, too. Because doesn't he, like, shoot him in the ear or something? And that, like,
I forget exactly where, but...
only half of his face to change.
And then one of them gets their hand injured, so it's only their hand that turned back into ape.
Yeah, and, so these aliens, like, are after... They're after, like, an idol, which is this lion god creature that they call King Caesar, which at the beginning of it's not the beginning. It's later on in the movie that the priestess's father tells her that the only thing that can stop the monster from attacking is King Caesar. Mm-hmm. And you're like, oh, well, what's that? So now they're trying to hunt down this...
And this is the first time in the history of Godzilla that we saw him, right?
Yeah. Okay. This is the first and not the only time. It's not the only time, but it is the first time. And so they're trying to, like, find this idol to prevent them from awakening King Caesar, because that's one of the things that could stop their plan from taking place. So they're trying to get this idol, and it's very, like, James Bond like the way that the plot plays out. And then our characters eventually they get the idol back, and they're trying to get it to the Azumi tribe so that they can awaken King Caesar. And in the meantime, another Godzilla appears, and everyone's like, "Wait, what?" Like, something's not right about this one, because it like, and you know right off the bat, because it doesn't have the same roar.
Yeah.
It just has like that mechanical screeching noise, and
which I noticed right away. I don't think I don't know. I was pretty ignorant as a kid, so like I don't think I really picked up on that. I mean,
it took me a minute, because when I watched it, I was like, "Oh, they changed his roar."
Yeah.
Like when I was a kid, I was like, "Oh, that's weird." I was like, "I don't like that," and
Yeah.
I just didn't like it.
I mean, obviously, after I watched it.
Yeah. And then Anguirus appears, and Anguirus, as we know, is Godzilla's ally through the rest of the series. And this Godzilla
I didn't
proceeds
know he
to...
popped up as much as he does.
He proceeds to just beat the holy hell out of Anguirus. And
Yeah.
Anguirus is like, yo!
Pretty violently, too.
Oh, there's a lot of blood.
Like,
there's a lot of blood in this movie.
Yeah. I realized, watching this again, like, as he's referred to in the lore, fake Godzilla, before he's actually Mechagodzilla. Like, I didn't remember how violently he punched and kicked
and ripped the tongue out of Anguirus.
I don't think he ripped the tongue out, because
he ripped something out.
he just pulls his jaw apart.
Oh,
like,
he just tries to. I thought he ripped something out, but it might have just been blood just gushing out.
Like, the further he pulls, it starts gushing, like, from the sides.
Okay.
Yeah.
I always, like, I always couldn't remember
you
exactly
told me,
if he ripped
you
the tongue
mentioned
out
that
or
before, and I was like, yeah, I think that is what happens, but with rewatching
But now
it
that
today,
you say that,
yeah.
I do remember he just rips the jaw open, and Anguirus, like, keeps, like, biting down to, like, get him to lose grip. But, he beats the holy hell out of Anguirus, but not before Anguirus gets a hit on this fake Godzilla.
Right.
Revealing...
Well, that was pretty early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Revealing, like a Terminator, underneath he has this metallic...
It was like a
it's just a
spot.
small chunk that he took off of the arm.
Yeah.
With his horns. And he just ripped that off, so that was the clue to key you in. Okay, if you didn't already catch on that this is not the real Godzilla, now you know.
Yeah.
So then that fake Godzilla goes to... I think it was in Okinawa that it was destroying all the the power plants and everything.
Yeah, I think so.
And the real Godzilla appears, and they have this fight in which Godzilla and fake Godzilla have a standoff, and then fake Godzilla burns away all of its flesh on top of it to reveal that it's actually Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, Godzilla takes a bigger chunk out of, like, I think it was the back of his neck.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, I guess my cover's blown.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
cover's blown, gotta get rid of it now.
He burns it off himself.
Yeah, so he just burns away all of it to reveal that he's actually a mechanical Godzilla, and that has this sweet-ass montage of the hands flipping, and then shows, like, the jaw moving up and down. It's just showing all the cool parts of him.
It was kind of weird, because I went and thought too deeply about it, because when he has the skin on him, he moves completely different.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's not actually, like...
Yeah.
It the suit's... The metal suit is not actually underneath there.
I think it would have been funny if they had actually put fake skin over the suit. And then just, like, tried to, like, move in it. Because it's so, like, blocky the way that Mechagodzilla is designed that I feel like if they put the latex over top of it, the dude wouldn't even be able to move the arms. He'd just be, like, wobbling, like, across the set.
Yeah.
But I think that would be pretty funny to see.
That's not a thing that needs to be, like... It's not a negative.
No.
It was just one of those things I was like... his posture and the way he moves completely changes. But... Not a bad thing.
No. And, these two Godzillas have a fight. Mechagodzilla launches missiles and its whole arsenal at Godzilla to show what it's capable of. And then we get Godzilla, like, after they have a beam battle where Godzilla's breath goes against the lasers, and then there's a big explosion, Godzilla falls into the bay, and then a lot of blood gushes up out of that bay, and I'm like, whoa.
Godzilla should be dead.
Yeah, he should be.
With the amount of blood he lost.
So then our heroes try to infiltrate the base where they're holding Mechagodzilla. They get captured, and then a lot of other action-y stuff happens with those characters. Of course, the villains reveal their whole plan, what it is they want to do, and then they break out.
That chamber they were stuck in was pretty intense. When I was a kid, I remember it being super intense. I was like, oh my god.
Oh yeah, because didn't they have like the temperature was like 100 and some degrees?
Yeah, they leaned up against the side where you thought you would sit, and then like these steam vents like open up, and then they're like, oh screw that, and they go to the other side, and then it does
the same exact thing.
And then they go to a third side, at this
they
point,
should have learned at that point, like maybe we don't lean up against the wall.
But then all sides were going off, so they're all kind of like huddled in the middle.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it must have been hot steam, but on top of that, they were shooting like UV rays or something.
Yeah.
Some kind of heat ray kind of thing on them, like heating them up. I don't know.
Yeah, they were just trying to like cook them essentially.
Yeah, literally
to
just.
death.
Maybe they can eat them. I don't know.
Yeah. So they finally like get out of there, and they get the idol to the Azumi priestess, who just unleashes some bars for like 4 minutes to awaken King Caesar. And well, the weird thing was like, what they placed the idol on some pedestal, and then half the mountain explodes. Yeah, or I guess they knew that it was time because the sun rose from the west.
Yeah,
instead of the east.
Yeah, there was an inscription that they read earlier.
The other part of the prophecy was, when the sun rises in the west, 2 monsters will appear to save the people, which would be Godzilla and King Caesar.
Yeah.
But like they put the idol up on top of like a pedestal on the roof, and the eyes glow, and half the mountain explodes to reveal that King Caesar is asleep underneath it. And then
But that don't wake him up.
No. And then she has to sing a song, which is a good song. I mean, yeah. I'm not gonna critique that.
I don't know what the English version sounds like, but
no, I don't know either. I don't want to know. I just want to know that version.
Okay.
And so she awakens King Caesar. He comes out, but Godzilla's not there yet. So they release Mechagodzilla to try to kill King Caesar before she's done with the song, before it wakes him. And that's a nice part of the movie, is because it's a race against time. She's like trying to awaken him, but at the same time they keep cutting back to Mechagodzilla just getting closer and closer to the mountain, because if he gets there, he can just kill King Caesar before he wakes up. So they finally awaken King Caesar, and Mechagodzilla and Caesar engage in battle. And Caesar does this really cool thing where Mechagodzilla will shoot like a beam at him, and if it hits him right in the eyes, he can reflect it right back at him, which is a neat power that he has.
Yeah.
And he looks cool. He just looks cool.
Yeah.
He's always been one of my favorite characters.
People are gonna hate me, I assume most people that like Godzilla probably grew up on Power Rangers. And I know I always bring it up, but King Caesar is the epitome. Like, I swear to God, there was a Power Rangers villain that was basically him.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like, because he just straight up looks like that.
Mm-hmm.
Which is also why I'm probably slightly obsessed with Mechagodzilla, because he's basically the Dragon Zord.
Oh yeah.
Without it in green.
Yeah. So then Godzilla finally shows up. Both King Caesar and Godzilla double team Mechagodzilla, and the whole movie ends with Godzilla ripping off the head of Mechagodzilla. Let's back up a little bit, because there's some crazy shit that happened before that. So Godzilla and Mechagodzilla are having their fight, and Mechagodzilla is like swoop attacking Godzilla and causing him to bleed just profusely.
Oh yeah, no.
And then he fires the drill rockets at him, and they all just stick in his skin.
Yeah, before the drill rockets, there's that one clip. I don't even know what he does, but he gets a hole in it. Godzilla gets a hole in his neck, and it's literally just spraying out the side.
Oh yeah, and then he Mechagodzilla does this thing where he spins his head around and just creates like a force field around him, and Godzilla like tries to breach it and ends up burning himself.
Yeah,
and then he shoots these rockets at Godzilla, which like just sort of like stick in his skin, like they penetrate, but they're just stuck there.
Yeah,
and he's just bleeding just profusely.
Yep.
And then Godzilla gets up, and I guess it was he got struck by lightning earlier in the movie.
I don't remember.
yeah, he got struck by lightning earlier in the movie, but it wasn't like he got struck and then he like glowed, and there was really no explanation for it. But he was like walking through a storm, and it showed him striking the fins, and then he like glow blue and all that.
Yeah,
but it was weird because there was no explanation until now, when he becomes magnetized, I guess.
At what point was the shot where he had there was like an explosion that came off of him, but then he like sucks it back up. It goes in like reverse, and he sucked it back up. I
can't remember that one.
Yeah, I don't know. It's at some point, but
he
I can't remember if that's before or after this.
But he does he magnetically pushes all the missiles out of him.
Yeah. And
then he does this explosion that he glows blue.
Okay, it must be that part.
That's it, because there's an explosion that it sucks in, and then it glows around him.
Yep.
And there's that pulsating effect.
Right. Yep.
And then he pulls two power towers to him because he's magnetized, and then Mechagodzilla slowly starts pulling back.
Yeah.
Because of the magnetic force.
Which if there was enough magnetic force to pull Mechagodzilla back, how much stuff around him did he mess up?
He messed up everything. So he pulls Mechagodzilla out of the air,
but the towers disappear.
Yeah, they just are never seen again. And then he ends up pulling Mechagodzilla towards him, and then he basically the whole fight that he ends with is him ripping off the head, which kills Mechagodzilla, and that's the end of the movie. Godzilla wades back off into the ocean, and that's the end of the film, but not the end of that rivalry.
Yeah, King Caesar.
King Caesar goes back to sleep.
He literally just goes back to the hole and makes an explosion and buries himself.
Yeah, it was weird.
I was I don't know how that works, but okay.
Yeah, I was oh, he just goes back to sleep like that? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that... I don't know. There's so much nostalgia there for me that it's hard not to...
Oh, it's good
it's hard,
movie.
Yeah, it's hard not to say that's... It's probably my favorite.
Oh, it's up there for me in the Showa series. It's definitely one of my favorite...
I mean, I think without hesitation, I would say that's my favorite of the Showa.
Yeah, easily mine too. It's one that I have watched over and over and over. And then that's what I told you earlier, was I didn't get a chance to watch this. I watched it a month ago, but I didn't get a chance to watch it recently. But that I was just rattling stuff off because I knew of how many times I had watched it, just to know. So we were talking about this earlier, that they could have ended the Showa era with Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, because it would have just been...
It would have just been the highest note to end that era on. Or the whole series, because I think that's when they were going to,
Okay.
That would have been the end if they had just ended it right there.
Huh.
Which, in my opinion, you could have just ended the Showa era right there, and it would have been a high note. Not that I'm dissing this movie, but I feel like they got such a good response from Mechagodzilla that they're we need a sequel now.
Yeah.
So they just rushed a sequel in, and they're hey, we're gonna do this because it's gonna be awesome and people love Mechagodzilla.
So if we're jumping right into this one, I want to say, with it being Mechagodzilla, I still love it for that. I really enjoy just getting right into it before we even talk about what it's about, but I really enjoy Tyrannosaurus. Is that Titanosaurus?
Yeah. Which actually, there's a real dinosaur named after him.
Yeah. There's again Power Rangers. Later on there's a Zord that's kind of mimicked off him too.
Yeah.
Or off the creature that he's based off of or whatever. But so like that is awesome. Like I'm looking at that poster right there, and it's
Titanosaurus is a really cool. He's a really cool character. Yeah. There's one shot in the beginning of the movie where it destroys that sub, where it's shown. Titanosaurus is shown from the back, and it's dark, and he crushes the sub in his hands, and the explosion like lights the silhouette.
Yeah.
And then he roars. I'm like, that is one of the coolest shots ever.
I'll just before we talk about the whole plot or whatever, I think it's just the human aspect, as a lot of these movies is just kind of, it's just there.
This one drags.
Yeah,
this one really drags.
It's not that it's bad. It's just so much of it.
And
I think we were a good 30 minutes in before we saw Godzilla himself.
And it was just a lot of like people asking where somebody was, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, let's go to this person, talk to this person." And I feel like at this point they were just kind of phoning it in.
Yeah.
Because they're like, we just need a sequel with more Mechagodzilla. We don't care what the story is.
Well, that's the thing. There's not a lot of monster stuff in this.
Yeah.
So, like, they probably didn't spend a lot of time.
And you know what's funny is I'm pretty sure the reason they did it this way, because Akihiko Hirata, who played Dr. Serizawa, plays Dr. Mifune in this. Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering if that wasn't intentional, where they're like, well, we started the series with a doctor with good intentions, but he had screwed up experiments, and let's have him play another mad scientist type character who has messed up experiments. But let's talk about the elephant in the room here. And I'm talking about why he was cast out of the Oceanic Developmental Institute.
Yeah.
All because of his quote-unquote crackpot theory that a giant dinosaur was living in the bottom of the ocean. Yeah, you're right, because you haven't had one of those running around for the last 20 years.
20 years, yeah.
So, yeah, that's unheard of. Like, when they did the flashback, and these people are like, you know, he's disheveled, and he's, like, yelling, and people are, like, throwing him out of the institute. I'm like...
When he was thrown out of the institute, how long before current time? Was it, like, 15?
It looked like it was, like, probably 15 years.
Because it would be depending on how close it was to Godzilla's original
I guess you're right.
Yeah. That just dawned on me as we were talking about that.
Because, like, watching it, I'm like, oh, yeah, he's a crackpot.
If it predates Godzilla...
Yeah, oh, yeah. If it predates Godzilla, that he was, like, cast out...
Because there is no continuity in these movies,
No. But if it was pre-Godzilla, which it doesn't seem to be, because when he discovered Titanosaurus... That was when Katsura, his daughter, had the accident because they were trying to find Titanosaurus, and she was only like a couple years younger than what she is in this movie. Yeah. So I'm guessing that it's after Godzilla's first appearance. So I'm like sitting there going, oh yeah, because that's unheard of.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy's a crackpot, dinosaurs living in the ocean. Like, and I'm thinking, dude, you had it destroy cities of yours for like 20 years, and you're calling this dude a crackpot.
Yeah, no, it doesn't make sense. I wasn't trying to disprove you. I was just
but
trying to put some logic
didn't even
with
think
it.
of that whenever you mentioned that. Yeah. I was like, oh yeah. I was like, if it had been before, but then when you
if they would have written it the right way.
You're like, he couldn't.
Yeah.
But that's just one of those nitpicks where I'm just like, oh yeah, because that seems like a reason to kick some dude out.
Yeah. And this is, what is this, 1974?
75.
75?
Yeah.
You know, I'm bad at math. That's what, 50, 60, I don't know. Years ago? I don't know.
I think it's...
I can't do math.
50.
Yeah. So it's 50-ish years.
It's almost 50 years.
Okay. We're living in 2021 now, because I almost said 2020.
I've been doing that all week.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what day it is.
Yeah. So here in current time, 2021, like, we're still discovering stuff in the sea.
Yeah.
Like, so.
But the fact that they kicked him out and no one was like, well, let's see if he might be right about this.
Yeah.
Like, let's go have a look. Like, instead, they're just like, you idiot. They're like, get out of here.
Yeah, it's purely for the plot.
Yeah. And that's all that it was for. So I mean, there's really not a lot to talk about in this.
No,
like,
there's not.
There's like the aliens come back.
Yep.
They're
pretty sure it's the same leader.
They're making people work like slave labor. They're cutting their throats.
We don't see
so
any of them turn
talk.
into apes in this one, though.
No. And I'm guessing that was a budget constraint.
Yeah.
They spent all their money making Titanosaurus, and they're like, well, we don't have enough money.
That's
to make
true.
Ape costumes
I do want to
again.
comment on his suit. Like, it looks really good.
Yeah, it's a cool suit. That's one figure that I don't have.
Yeah.
Is Titanosaurus. There's like Titanosaurus, Gorosaurus.
I wouldn't mind having
Baron.
him as well. He's pretty cool.
Well, you're in luck because I think that they're gonna make figures of him from the anime for.
I can't wait to have figures from that.
Oh, me either. Especially with the newest image. I don't know if you saw the newest image of Godzilla. I'll show it to you.
Okay, yeah.
But it's not really like newsworthy for us to cover. It's
Right.
more of just that they just released like a piece of concept art showing it. But anyway, yeah, Titanosaurus is really cool. Titanosaurus has always been one of my favorites. So Titanosaurus appears and they're controlling him to destroy part of Tokyo because they're still trying to prepare Mechagodzilla, so they're using the control that Dr. Mifune has over Titanosaurus to launch an assault in the meantime until they get Mechagodzilla fully operational, and then they'll have both monsters to destroy countless cities and all that. And Titanosaurus is destroying the city, and we get one of the coolest Godzilla entrances, which is mirrored in Godzilla King of the Monsters 2019, where Titanosaurus gets hit with the beam, and he like falls over, and then the camera turns around, and off on the horizon we see the silhouette of Godzilla, and then Godzilla runs up, and we get his awesome theme music as always, and he rushes in to beat the shit out of Titanosaurus. And then they have a cool fight, and then Titanosaurus's control goes haywire, and then he jumps back into the ocean. And then...
was it him going haywire? I thought he just kind of was like, F this, I'm out of here.
Yeah, I think like they were like, send him back into the ocean. Like, we don't need to fight Godzilla right now. So then they get Mechagodzilla fully operational, and then they send out both Mechagodzilla and Titanosaurus on Tokyo, and they're like destroying for like a good couple hours before Godzilla shows up. And Godzilla just shows up out of nowhere, because you had mentioned it. You're like,
yeah,
where's Godzilla? And I was like, I don't know. Good point.
Yeah.
And then he just shows up. Like, there are two kids. Like, they're like, oh no, Titanosaurus. And then all of a sudden, like, the camera, like, cuts and it's like, Godzilla! And he shows up and just starts, like, beating the hell out of all of them.
It was really just him and Titanosaurus, like...
Yeah, it wasn't really, like
Mecha was just kind of standing there most of the time.
Yeah, it wasn't really, like, Godzilla fighting Mechagodzilla. He was just fighting his crony the entire time.
Yeah.
And then,
which might have been a strategy for the aliens. They might be like, let him get hurt and weaken Godzilla.
Yeah, and I think that was it. Like, they were just like, well, keep Godzilla at bay. That way we can get off some more shots on the city and everything. But they end up jamming Titanosaurus's control like module or however they, I don't know if they implanted it on him or what.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But they disable it, and then he basically just falls into the ocean and presumably just drowns or something.
Yeah, for a minute he kind of just...
Did he have an aneurysm? I don't know.
Yeah, he just kind of staggers around for a minute.
Yeah, and then he just falls over the cliffside, and I'm like, well, is he dead? I mean, he's an aquatic dinosaur.
Yeah.
And they don't really, like, tell you whether he's dead or not.
No.
He just is incapacitated for the rest of the battle. And Godzilla rips off Mechagodzilla's head once again, but they planned for that.
But they're prepared for that one this time.
And it has, like, a bionic head underneath that's, like...
It honestly looks like some of these figures that we have.
Yeah.
When you tear their head off.
Yeah.
Or replace it, it's like this little ball thing.
Yeah. It's like it was like this little thing that had like it looked like a Cylon from Battlestar Galactica almost.
Okay.
Like it looked like it had like the visor and like the dome head underneath. So it's still like firing beams and functioning entirely.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing wrong with it. And the aliens try to escape in 3 ships that come up out of the ocean, and Godzilla makes quick work of them by shooting them down with his atomic ray. This is before Titanosaurus gets incapacitated, but he makes quick work of them, and I might have missed it. Has he end up destroying Mechagodzilla in this one?
The humans incapacitate the aliens.
Yeah.
And then so Mecha's just kind of standing there because nobody's controlling him.
Okay.
And then he like chucks him like head first or whatever.
Okay. Oh, he chucks him into that like trench and then shoots the fire and blows it up.
Yeah,
and,
he
like,
atomic breaths
him.
him. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I thought that's what happened, but I was like, wait a minute. No, I'm like, that can't be right. But yeah. That's about it. I
think the last thing that happens actually is Titanosaurus falling into the ocean. I think he's stumbling the whole time.
Yeah, he is, while Godzilla's screwing around with Mechagodzilla, and then he falls into the... Yeah, oh, that's right. Because Godzilla, like, finishes his bout with Mechagodzilla, turns around to Titanosaurus, and he just falls over. Yeah.
I think and then it just immediately cuts to Godzilla in the shallowest of waters that is a big, huge water hole.
Wow, I did not know that.
What?
But I'm not shocked. This film remains the least financially successful entry in the Godzilla franchise to date. Huh. Well, I mean, I'm not shocked, but
me neither,
I thought
but
that it was
there's way
like
worse
Godzilla's
than this.
Revenge. Yeah, I thought it was going to be like Godzilla's Revenge would be the least financially successful.
That's the least good.
Like I said, this could have been...
I didn't hate the time with it.
No.
It was just slow there at the beginning.
Yeah, it's slower than the others, and it's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. It's just kind of slower, and it feels more like the quick cash grab, hey, people liked Mechagodzilla, let's make another with that.
And it's fine, because I did enjoy Mechagodzilla. I enjoyed the monster stuff.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with Mechagodzilla. I enjoy Mechagodzilla a lot. So, I mean, like, let's talk about Mechagodzilla's design for a minute.
Yeah, was there much change between
He's a little bit more slender in the second one.
Okay. Yeah.
But overall, it's the same exact,
Yeah, there's not much changed.
No.
Other
everything
than
was
the mini
kept
head.
consistent. Yeah. But, talking about Mechagodzilla, it's a very unique design. The way that it looks is just, to me anyway, it's just iconic.
Oh, yeah.
And Mechagodzilla was one of those things to come out of the 70s sci-fi that I feel like it helped spawn a new era of sci-fi, because you had all these you had robotic monsters and stuff like that in movies, but you never had something that was clearly imitating something else.
Right.
So, I mean, for the time with Mechagodzilla, it seemed right, I guess it would be the word.
Yeah.
To do something like that and usher in like a new era, because you see it all the time now in movies where it's like, oh, there's a bionic version of this or something like that. Which I feel like they owe a lot to that, because that was one of the more iconic and successful ways that it was done.
Yeah, one thing I noticed in the movie, I don't see it here in this image that I pulled up, but there was somewhere, I think on his arm, where it has like an MG.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's cool.
It's on the second one.
Okay.
It's only on the second Mechagodzilla.
I thought I saw it in the first movie.
It might have been on the first movie, but I think, oh, that's right. In the first movie, it was all red, and then I think in the second movie, it's red and blue.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I remember it was on there. So, fun fact, did you know that Toho did this same exact thing before with, yep, there it is, it's red in that one.
Yep. So it's on his right arm.
Yeah. Toho did the same thing with a property of theirs. Well, it was a shared property. But Mechagodzilla was not their first imitation monster. Like, not their first mechanical imitation monster. Mechanicong was their first run. And then Mechagodzilla came after. So it was 67, almost 10 years before.
Wow.
They did Mechanicong, which was just Mecha King Kong, and then made Mechagodzilla later on. Which, it shocks me that they didn't do it sooner.
Yeah.
That they weren't just like, well, why don't we just do this?
I was trying to make that image bigger.
Oh, yeah.
Right there he is.
Yeah, there's both of them right there. There's Mechagodzilla and Mechanicong.
I hate when I click on images; it doesn't just make it bigger.
But yeah, it kind of shocks me that like they didn't do Mechagodzilla sooner.
Yeah.
After they did Mechanicong.
Man, I'd love to see a current Mechagodzilla.
You will. You will if the spoilers are true.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, right. I forgot about those.
But so far, he hasn't shown up in the toys at all. At all.
Oh, I'd buy that in a heartbeat.
I would too. Like, I know how people are like, well, that's stupid. And it's like, yeah, but I also want to see it.
Yeah, I don't know what Mechagodzilla would look like in the current form of, like, current Godzilla. But it'd be interesting, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, people have redesigned it and everything, but, yeah, it's hard to say what exactly he'll look like.
Yeah.
Because you can still find the spoiler images on Google, but, like, if you search Playmates, Mechagodzilla, I think it's one word, Playmates. But you can find, the, Hong Kong, or was it Hong Kong spoiler? Maybe not. I don't know.
Is it this thing?
No.
I was gonna say that looks like old one.
Keep scrolling. Ah, there it is, right there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty blurry.
Yeah, it is.
But you can, like, I think if you scroll down on this, you might get some. Yeah, here we go. This is the whole wall.
Okay.
That it has all the different Mechagodzillas, but they haven't shown up in any of the toys.
Oh man,
at all.
I mean, it looks weird, but I'll take it.
And neither has this Godzilla with the spine attachment thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know when we're.
Oh man.
When or
Can
if
it just come already?
We're gonna get it, but I'm buying them whenever they come out.
I haven't bought any of the King Kong versus Godzilla ones.
I haven't bought the bigger ones.
Yeah.
Just because I don't have the room for them.
I'd love to buy those big ones, the $20 ones.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'd put them either.
Oh yeah, I mean they're not like expensive.
I tell you what, I will not buy, and not this. I mean, it's still Godzilla stuff, so whatever. But we've talked about this before. The $12 ones. the second line of them.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like Godzilla, it looks terrible.
Oh yeah.
Like it. Yeah, I don't know what they did with the second line of
They
that,
have
but
other ones coming out this year too, and I don't know if they're gonna be
I hope they're
good or
at
not.
least as good as, because I like the Godzilla and the Mechagodzilla.
Well, that's the problem, is they're not going to do vinyl anymore, which
Yeah.
is disappointing.
Yeah.
Because that was one nice thing about Bandai America, is that they did vinyl like the regular ones. Oh, I never saw that. Wow, that is a almost crystal clear image.
Yeah, that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whew. Somebody knows how to use the unsharp mask tool.
Yeah. Looks like they just kind of touched it up a little bit.
Wow, yeah. I'm going to have to find that later.
Look at the claw here.
Yeah. Yeah, they look like grappling claws.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's talk about the ratings for these two movies. And then we can probably go on about that. But yeah, let's talk about talk about that.
Rate the Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla first.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a biased score.
That's what we're here for, man.
I know. It's not a perfect movie, so it's definitely not going to be a 10 out of 10. But for me, I'm going to have to give it a 9.
9?
Yeah.
I'm going to...
In the sense of Godzilla. Like, you know, this isn't like a rating system based on, like, movies.
Yeah.
Or film.
Is it good?
Yeah.
Does it qualify as cinema?
Yeah.
You know, we're not doing that.
So I'm going to give it a 9 just because, I don't know.
I'm going to give it an 8.
Okay.
Because this is a movie that I could just make a thing of popcorn and sit down and just enjoy the absolute hell out of this.
I might just purchase this one straight up on Vudu.
It is monster fun.
Yeah. Hopefully it would be in English on Vudu, though.
Hopefully. I think it should be, though.
Yeah. If nothing else on there, you should be able to switch between them.
Well, if the Godzilla against Mechagodzilla we watched was in English, they were all released from the same distributor, so they should all have an English.
I don't know where HBO Max is getting their feeds on the...
Yeah, they get some weird, like, Criterion rips or something like that. I don't know. And then Terror of Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, just because of how slow the human stuff was at the beginning, it'd probably hinder it down to 6.5.
I was gonna go 6.
Yeah,
just because it's, aside from a few cool monster sequences and all that, and a new monster being added into the mix, it was just kind of
right.
Like, it's
the
really
human stuff
not...
just hinders it enough that it's just above average, you know.
Yeah, but it's not one that I see myself revisiting often.
No, I mean the only reason that, like, if I were to ever buy it, it's only because it's one of the Mechagodzilla movies.
Yeah,
is really going to be the biggest reason. Aside from the fact that I really did enjoy Titanosaurus.
Yeah, me too.
Does he ever show up again?
No.
No? Great.
That's why I think I think they're taking a lot of the excuse me, a lot of these ones and adding them to the anime.
Yeah.
Because they've been neglected
Which is awesome.
for so long.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, I mean that's what I want.
Yeah.
That is really, that's legitimately what I want to see. Is there it is right there. That's the new image.
Oh, okay.
Of Godzilla. So you kind of get a clear view of the head. I like the eyes a lot.
Yeah.
For those of you listening, we're looking at the new Singular Point new look at Godzilla, which is coming out. It'll be here before we know it.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to be quite caught up like we wanted to be.
No, but we'll be pretty far.
I mean, we'll just include it in our episodes.
Yeah.
Wherever it may land. Yeah, I'm so ready.
So I don't know. Did I mention? I don't think I mentioned this on the podcast earlier. So when Singular Point came out, the trailer came out for it.
Mm-hmm.
My initial thought when I saw Titanosaurus, because I didn't really get a good look at him, I just saw it quickly in the trailer.
Yeah.
And I'm sure some other people could. Yeah, because
that's who that was. Okay.
Because it's kind of hard to tell. Now I can definitely see it looking at him.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it happens very quickly.
Yeah, but seeing it in the trailer, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, what kaiju's that? And nobody could really pinpoint it exactly.
Yeah.
And I said I don't think I said it to Sean, but I kind of said it to myself. I was like, I hope that's Dutalios, which was a kaiju that was never used. It was one of those ones on the cutting room floor.
I think I remember you saying that to me.
Yeah.
Actually.
So, the joke...
Because that sparked a...
Yeah, because Sean watched all the Toho Kingdom... They were Toho Kingdom toons, is what they had on there.
Oh.
When we were in high school, we'd watch them, and they were hilarious. And Dutalios was a reoccurring character, because they used characters that weren't,
okay.
Well, they used some of them, but Dutalios was a reoccurring character. And I pulled him for Secret Santa this year. So I got him all these awesome gifts, and then I got him one joke gift where I bought an Ultraman King Mole Rat, which is basically the suit that they were going to use for Dutalios.
Yeah.
And I repainted it to match Dutalios' color palette. And that was one of the last gifts that he opened. I was like, "Now you're gonna love this one." And he opened it up and he's like, "That's fucking incredible."
He was explaining that to me. I was like, "I don't know what the hell you're talking about, dude."
I was like, dude, and he's like, "That's incredible." I was like, "I told you you'd like that one."
So real quick, I love that the Godzilla
spines
are on here.
Yeah, because I guess the theory behind it is that Godzilla's singular point signifies that he is that singular point that spawns these other monsters.
Okay.
And if you look closely, like Titanosaurus, and then you have Gabara, and all they all have characteristics linked to that Godzilla.
Yeah.
Similar characteristics, I guess. I guess some people said the big fangs on Gabara.
Huh.
The eyes are similar, and then Godzilla's always seen within the red mist.
Yeah.
And then you see the Rodans are flying with the trail of the red mist and all that. So they're theorizing that they're all
they put off this red mist, or is that just an effect to show you,
just to show that they're connected or something like that. Yeah. The only one that doesn't have that is Anguirus, but Anguirus also they said with the fangs, how they. Where that is...
God, he looks so good, too.
Oh, I know. I can't wait till the figure of him comes out.
Oh.
Because I really want that
Oh, they
Anguirus.
better put figures out for this.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
I don't know who that is.
That's the Gabara.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Somebody just drew the full body out.
Is Gabara real?
He is in this.
Oh, it's... Okay, yeah. I remember now. God, that was a terrible one.
Oh, I guess there is a bit of news.
Okay.
They released yet another banner.
This one?
No.
Oh.
No, for Godzilla vs. Kong.
Oh, okay.
Yet another banner.
Okay.
So, we have a black and white banner. Oh, why did they do this? Just why?
My hand typed gong.
Gong. Yeah, just search Godzilla vs. Kong banner, and it'll come up. They're all
Godzilla vs. Kong.
Kong. Godzilla vs. Kong.
What one was it? This one?
No, it is... Oh... Where could it be? Go to the all, like the all, yeah. Because there should be like a news. Yet another, yeah, there it is.
Yet another
banner. There it is.
It's simple, but I actually like it.
It's
what the hell's going on my phone?
It's simple, but at the same time, I'm like, yo, can we?
I mean, there's nothing to it, but
can we please like quit with the banners? Can we get a trailer?
Yeah, I don't give a shit if it's a 30-second like
no,
TV spot.
I don't care as long as we get proof that this movie exists. It's like Roger Corman's The Fantastic Four. Does it really exist?
Is it more real?
Are we ever going to see it? Is it going to be in those DVD, like, you know how you go to cons and they have like the bootleg, like the guys who are in the booths with all the bootleg DVDs that they ripped offline or whatever?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, are we going to get Godzilla vs. Kong if you get it from the Blu-ray dealer who ripped it off the internet?
Oh my.
Or so-and-so got a copy of it, and then so-and-so else got a copy of it.
Copied 5 different ways.
See, you know what the good part about it, though, is if it goes to HBO Max, which, like I said, I'm not lobbying for HBO Max for that, because what they did was shitty to Legendary.
Yeah.
And I am fully in support of them going after them for not telling them, just basically being like, hey, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't condone their actions either.
No.
But I love the service, I'm not going to lie.
No, yeah. But you know what's going to be great about that? Is the spoiler ban is going to be so much, like, shorter.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're going to be like, you can watch it
now.
At any convenience. Like, we're not having a spoiler ban. Like, it'll be Monday.
Yeah.
By the time that the spoiler ban's lifted, so you can talk about it. But that's the beauty of it. Is like stuff with like The Mandalorian, where they go, hey, spoiler ban's lifted on Monday because you have access to it. It's not like you have to find time to go to the theater, pay for your ticket, sit down with your popcorn, and watch the movie.
Right.
You know, it's...
I didn't know there's even a spoiler ban because people spoiled that shit immediately.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got 2 episodes of The Mandalorian spoiled for me.
Right.
But, yeah. So that was Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla and Terror of Mechagodzilla, the end of the Showa era. We draw the curtain on that era.
And we're going to jump 9 years.
That's right. We're going straight to 1984.
Oof.
There's
a lot of...
To watch The Terminator.
Yeah, there's a lot of... I'm sure the first thing I'll notice when we watch Return of Godzilla / whatever the other one's called... I'm sure there's going to be a noticeable jump in technology.
Yes.
But, like, film-wise, you know?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, 9 years...
a lot of...
Because Terror of Mechagodzilla was pre-Star Wars. And Return is, you know...
I'll say this. When we get into the 90s, like the 80s and 90s of Godzilla, a lot of the camera work and cinematography, things are shot in high speed so that they play them back slowly to give Godzilla more weight, or the monsters more weight. Because I know, like, in these movies, well, and they did it early on. They did it early in the series, but then they kind of got away from it, and they're like, we're not messing with that. Let's just have them run out and just do their thing.
Normal.
They kind of go back to giving the monsters more weight and size compared to them.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, the Return of Godzilla looks great. Like, it still really looks good. And I think I made a tweet about it not too long ago where I was like, I watched Godzilla 1985 with the fear in the back of my mind that I was that it was just one of those rose-colored glasses movies that I grew up with.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, it still kicks ass. Like, I'm like, it's still pretty great.
Was it the one that you were on the opposite end or the opposite spectrum as everybody else?
Yeah, because a lot of people don't like Godzilla 1985, but a lot of people don't like the Return of Godzilla either.
Yeah.
But I love that. I love Godzilla 1985, and I love the design. And I know a few people have pointed out to me, they're like, it's kind of a derpy design. I'm like, I don't see that at all. Like, I just see this fierce-looking Godzilla. Because he has, like, when you see his eyes, he has sort of that furrowed brow that he used to have, and his eyes are, like, looking from under the brow. Mm-hmm. So his eye, like, the pupils are constant, like, he constantly looks pissed off.
Yeah.
And, like, they gave him back the fangs and everything, and they made, like, the lip snarl and all that. And he looks terrifying. He just looks like a giant,
as he should be.
Yeah. He just looks like a giant monster.
As much as I love the... Now, I personally can't tell the nuances between each suit. I understand
I can teach you that.
I know. But...
I have a whole shelf.
I know. I couldn't even tell you the last time I noticed a change in the suit, personally, but the one that's been in these last couple, like, I call it, I think I referred to it as, like, Ninja Turtle Godzilla.
Oh, yeah, it has like, a very rounded head.
Yeah, he's almost, he's kind of cute in a way.
Yeah, at that point, he was more being marketed towards kids.
Yeah.
And they wanted something.
I don't know the exact way to describe it, but yeah, it's almost like a cutesy...
They softened him up.
Yeah.
They made him... Well, he still looked fierce, but they softened him up and gave him these more rounded features that kids would really gravitate towards.
Yeah.
Which, and kind of in the Return of Godzilla, they kind of mix both of those, which... If you look at this suit, which is the Cybot suit, it's not a good, like, interpretation. If you search, like, the 1984 Godzilla, you'll get, like, a lot better images, like, of the suit. Like, like, this is the figure that I have.
Yeah.
And it's based on this. Like, look at the eyes.
Oh, yeah,
and the fangs and everything. I mean, like, he just looks fierce.
Yeah.
Like, he looks angry and pissed off. And that, to me, that suit...
Is that basically the same as what's in Biollante?
No.
No? Okay.
That's where they started into the different suit.
Well, that was even 5 years apart.
Yeah. So the sequel takes... Like, if you search Godzilla 1989, you get the this suit.
Yeah.
Which
I have this figure.
Yeah. Yeah, and then this design pretty much takes over for the rest of the movies.
Okay.
It changes slightly, but it's the same basic... this is where all those other suits just kind of spawn from. Like, the 84, the spines are oriented in a certain way, and then in 85, they change it up. But I love both the suits, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I love both the movies, and I love both the suits. So it's never been like a... the next two movies we review, I hold in high regard to the series.
I love this poster.
It's a really cool poster.
Which is why I kept the box.
Yeah.
Aside from the fact that I'm going to keep the boxes.
Yeah.
But...
Yeah, that is a really cool poster.
Yeah.
That's what the VHS that I have, that's what the box art is.
Yeah. See, I would just display that.
Right? I mean, the VHS is kind of ruined, so
Yeah.
I keep the box art just to have it. Well, I shouldn't say the VHS is ruined. It's still... I have the physical VHS, but where they were stored, the film probably would not play in a VCR now. Which is fine. I have it all on DVD. I don't need... But, which, Godzilla 1985, we're going to watch a very special version of that, because this is the version that I had our high school communications teacher rip off my VHS onto a DVD, because the DVD of that version still does not exist.
Oh.
So I have a VHS rip that in college we were taught how to make menus for DVDs.
Well, I did that for senior video.
Well, we did like in depth, like we went through like the Adobe suites, and they're like, here's what you do: pick your font, and then you're gonna do this, and you can either do it this way where it underlines it, or you can highlight it. So I went through it. I like picked all these like awesome graphics, put it up, found the logo, put it up in the corner. There's play, scene selection, and like there's music, there's the roar. And then if you click scene selection, I have like screen grabs of just about where each like scene selection is.
Oh, wow.
So if you click it, it like just starts at this point. But like I went all out because I wanted that version to actually be like a good like DVD version of it.
That's interesting.
So yeah, before the VHSs got ruined, I was like, I'm having a good copy of this made. It's VHS quality. It's not great, but it's serviceable.
We don't have to. I don't. Is there anything illegal in doing that for your own? Thing?
No, not for your own. If you're not selling it,
right?
If it's just a personal thing for you, perfectly fine.
Because I think there's a way you can like rip any of your DVDs or Blu-rays, isn't there? If you have a disc drive,
yeah,
and that's not illegal.
No, but if you're selling it, absolutely. But like I said, I had him do that for me because I knew those were going to run out, and at the time. Now they've released The Return of Godzilla and Godzilla vs. Biollante on DVDs and Blu-rays. But at that time, they didn't have it. And they also said they were still in legal battles with the companies to get it released. Mm-hmm. And they were ongoing for like 10 years. So I'm like, I'm just having DVDs of these made because God only knows when they're going to actually settle their dispute.
I think my uncle had a thing that did that. I mean, you couldn't make like the menu, but you could rip them over.
Oh yeah,
into DVDs.
Because I had the disc that once you put it in, it just started playing.
Yeah. And
when I had that in college, they were like, "Hey, we can make DVD menus. Here's how you do it." And I was like, "Ooh!" I was like, "Well, I have a movie. Can I make a DVD menu for it?" And they're like, "Yeah." So that was my project.
Yeah.
I actually made the menu for that DVD, but it worked. Like when we watch it, you'll be impressed at like the amount of work that I put into it.
I'm pretty excited actually.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's gonna be cool. It's one of my more favorite projects that I did.
I wish I could find my Communications DVD.
I need to make a new sleeve for it though.
Because
the sleeve is kind of shitty looking. And I need to make a better sleeve for it.
All right, well, I think that's about going to do it. I didn't think we were going to hit an hour, but we did.
Well, I figured us just gabbing about what's coming next would take us over the limit.
So, thank you guys for hanging out, listening to us gab about Godzilla some more. And next time we will be talking about 2.5 movies, I guess maybe you could say.
Yeah, we'll say 2, but we're talking about 2 different versions. Yeah. Which, like I said, if you're like me, I think you're going to like one version more than the other.
So it's Return of Godzilla, and what's the other name for it?
Godzilla 1985.
Just that, okay.
Yeah.
And then Godzilla vs. Biollante.
Yes, 2 of my absolute favorites. I cannot wait.
Just because of the box art, I've been waiting for Biollante. So
I cannot wait to discuss these movies because this one might end up being our longest one, simply because I have an absolute love for both of these movies, and I'm just going to go on and on and on and on and on about them.
All right. Well, we'll catch you next time for those 2.5-ish movies, and... Catch you next time.
Prepare yourselves.
Laters.